Right then, guys, you're going to love this video. We're talking about how to go from a boy to a man. You're going to love it. But before we start, if you want to join the school community, the link is below. It's all the content that we just don't have on YouTube. It's higher level production. One of the things I'm going to start in the next few days is me starting a marketing company. I'm going to take you through the journey step by step, week by week, and show you like how that goes from nothing to something. Be really interesting. Now, let's jump into the video that you actually came here to watch. Right then, guys, let's get straight into this. So, going from a boy to a man, this is something that, this is something that I think a lot of young men around the world struggle with. I think my documentary, which is actually on the school community, which is called Fatherless Generation, you may have seen the trailer, that really highlighted the problem that we have on our hands. And we're going to jump in a minute, old school first man style, and we're going to go through a few photos. I'm going to be able to comment on stuff that's happening. I think it'll really help you guys kind of visualize it and see what I'm talking about. But I was having a live call with the guys actually on school the other day, and I was saying that we don't know how to live beyond the age of 25. It's almost like the world for men has been built pre 25, and we know like how to go out and get drunk. We know how to spend time with our friends. We know that the sports game is on, whatever sport you watch, and we know how to sit down with our friends, eat a pizza, watch that game, go and play some video games, have a couple of beers, and wake up late works. We know how to do that. We know how to like just fuck around, like dress in hoodies and stuff like that. Like we just all of that's easy for us. We've been taught how to do that ever since we were young, and the whole culture is, you go out, you get drunk, you enjoy your weekends, you sleep with as many women as possible. But then I'm noticing so many guys are getting to like a later age, like 25 and above, and they're going, wait, what now? What's the second phase of my life? What do you mean? Like kids, marriage, mortgage? What do you mean I have to like pay all my own bills? I have to take on these responsibilities, and I have to know about these terms and things that I've never heard about in my life, and I have to figure them out overnight. When did that happen? Like I still want to just kind of fuck around and just not really do a lot with my life. No, nobody's taught us like the other side of male life. The video that I've made on this channel that you guys can go back and watch if you haven't seen it. I think we've done part one and part two. Part one was the first main one, which this video will be very similar to, truth be told. But this is something that doesn't get discussed, and here's the thing, guys. This is a kicker that you guys will really resonate with. Is like I'm trying to get pictures to do this video for you lot of losers. Oh my god, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. You want me to find a picture of a loser, a guy doing nothing with his life? Easy to find. Piece of piss. You want me to find a picture of a guy who's super successful, completes the image that I had in my head? I've had to use Midjourney AI software to type it in and generate it and get some of the pictures. No, not always, but I've had to get a few in that manner because you try and search them and it doesn't really exist. That guy, yeah, that guy's successful, but he's not really in shape. Yeah, that guy, you're like, none of these guys have actually transitioned to a man. Now, what I mean by transitioning to a man is not a transgender therapy thing. What I mean is mentally and physically. Okay? And this is what a lot of young boys don't do. And we'll get to this in a second. We'll go through a lot of the images. I just need to tell you guys about this part first. So, mentally, a lot of men are weak. I've used the example before. And here's the thing that you need to know, right? The physical, you do that. You implement that on your life. The mental, that life happens to you and it builds you up, but you can let it in or you can push it away. It depends on what type of person you are. So with the mental, I remember a few years ago something would happen to me where something would go wrong. My dad was still alive back then, and I would pick up the phone. I'd call my dad. I'd call my mum. I'd call my sister. I wanted to moan. I wanted to complain. I wanted to unload my problems on them to make sure that they just knew that I was pissed off and whatever. That's very childish. You don't realize it at the time, and you're bitching and moaning, and then at the end of the call, you go, "Yeah, like thanks for that. I'll catch you later." And that's where it ended. And you realize like once my dad died, I realized I was like, I am taking my problems and I'm dumping them on other people. They don't need to know. Like as a man, you just need to learn that as you go through life, and that's all these little lessons. This is what I mean. Like life will happen to you. Life has beaten the shit out of me. Day after day, it's beating the shit out of me. And the more you try and do, the more you try and push forward and accomplish, the worse it gets. And I've told you guys before, you live in the fire. You just live in this like fiery cauldron. And you're looking for it to be extinguished, you're looking for it to cool down, and whatever that might be, 50, 60 years old, I don't know what it will be for you, but the majority of male life is it just exists forever. It doesn't go away. It's constant. Every single day you're battling with that, and you just learn to live within the flames. That's the mental side, the mental toughness of going from a boy to a man, of realizing that you can't be this child, you can't be in this childlike state forever where something goes wrong at school and you just like, oh, mum, dad, can you come in and sort it? The teacher's being mean to me. You've got a school bully and you can tell a teacher and whatnot. It's like in real life, once you become a man, like somebody's giving you shit, you just deal with it yourself. You just have to step up and handle that. And it's like, it's so obvious, but it's a transitional stage that nobody really teaches us. And a lot of young men will be like, well, I'm 22, I handle my own problems and whatever. You'd be surprised. You'd be very surprised what you're leaning on. You'd be very surprised what you're not actually doing yourself. You'd be very surprised about your level of mental toughness. For example, you might accomplish something. The first thing you want to do is brag about it and tell the world. It's not what men do. Men don't do that. They keep it to themselves and just go, well, that's a win for me. I'll just move forward. My life will be better because of it. Like when it was my birthday recently, about 2 weeks ago, I saw people after that, and they were like, "Actually, when's your birthday? I know it's around this time of year." And I was like, "Oh, it's like a week ago or whatever." And they're like, "Why didn't you tell me?" It's not what a man does. A man doesn't sit there and go, "Oh, it's my birthday today. Go and get me some presents. Make sure you remember it's my birthday next week." There's like a whole mental side of masculinity that so many guys are missing out on, and it's because of the fatherless generation kind of the kind of setup that we have in society now, in the media. It's not as masculine as it used to be. You're not seeing these like acts of masculinity in movies anymore. What you're seeing is you're seeing weakness. You're constantly seeing weakness. Hamza made a great video on this before. He was talking about Modern Family, The Simpsons and stuff like that. Like most of the media now is just like the dad is a buffoon. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's soft and weak, and he's always every Marvel movie now is like a woman saving the man and whatever. Which, whatever, do whatever you want to do. I guess it would happen at some point, but that's what you're growing up with. Is going to put you in a situation where you're like, woe is me, somebody come and save me, somebody else solve my problems. As a man, you need to conquer that. You need to get past that as early as possible, right? So life will beat the shit out of you. Life will mentally toughen you, and you either embrace it or you cower from it. Cowering from it is going home, watching porn, not dealing with your problems, shying away from it, ignoring it, and just waiting for somebody else to handle it for you, or calling somebody and be like, "You sort this. I'm in serious trouble." Being a man, being mentally tough is just being like, "It is awful. I'm gonna front up to it. I'm just gonna face it. It is what it is. What else can I do? This just needs to be solved," and just getting it done. And not asking anybody for assistance and stuff like that. There's a massive difference, but we don't get taught. We really don't get taught. Like you see people like guys in the workplace, and it's really interesting. I remember when I was into like my mid late 20s, I'd see like young guys come into the workplace, and they did have a very like, "Oh, can you do it then? Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you do it?" Like they had that mentality, which is very much teacher school student dynamic. Whereas the guys that were ahead, the guys that were getting shit done, they would just do stuff on their own. They would just go out and get things sorted, right? Now, the second component is the physical. And the physical you can control. The physical is something that you have ultimate control on. The mental is something that life is it's just gonna push on you, and you're just gonna have to deal with it and whatnot. It is what it is. It'll happen over time as you get older. But the physical, that's up to you guys. If you want to go from a boy to a man, that's up to you, and that includes having a masculine frame. That includes having like a strong face. That includes obviously over time you'll age and you'll look a little bit better, but it's up to you as a man to keep your body fat down. It's up to you as a man to have that muscle. It's up to you as a man to have that like masculine frame and what you wear and whatnot. And we'll get to all this in a minute. I'll go through all the images, but that's a responsibility that falls on you. And if you're a type of guy who's like a gamer who chooses to dress in like hoodies and trainers, and you're like, "Oh, I can't really find a woman. Nobody takes me seriously. I've gone to 4 job interviews and they've all said no." It's like, yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Like, "Oh, I did a job interview in COVID and I didn't get the job. Why? Because you had a gamer chair that you were sat on." Do you know what I mean? Like, put a suit on. Put a suit on. Turn up looking clean. Turn up looking fresh. Turn up looking like an actual man. And we've lost a whole generation of this, where it's like nobody actually wants to be a full-grown man anymore. But full-grown men have their life sorted. I remember me and my old mentor years ago, we had this debate about this exact topic, and I remember after we had that debate, I walked to the park I was in Toronto and I walked to the park and I remember seeing and look, he's not a bad guy. I'm not saying that at all. He had his opinion, I had mine. But I walked to the park and I saw this guy who was like, he wasn't anything special. He was a very normal guy, but he had like he must have been the same age as my mentor, and he had like his wife, his two kids. He was getting them out of the car. He had like a half decent car, but it was very neat and tidy. It was professional. He had a nice like suit on. And it was a Sunday. He had like a shirt and a blazer jacket on, sort of thing. Nice shoes, and he was meeting either his family or his missus' family. And he just walked over. He just like handshook the dad. So I mean, it could have been the missus' family more likely. He probably would have hugged his dad, and then gave the mum, like the mother-in-law, the kiss, and then brought everyone inside and whatever. And I was just like, I don't care what that man does or how much money he makes. Like, that's a man. Like, he's got his life sorted. Like, he looks as though he's in control. He's doing it the right way. And I think we just had this bubble in the world for like, it was like 10 years of like anti-corporate. Everybody was like, okay, you go into the office and you've got a table tennis table, you've got futsal, you've got an Xbox and stuff like that, beanbags instead of chairs. And there was like this whole thing that happened for a while. And everyone was like, yeah, you can work from home if you want. You don't have to wear a suit to work. You can just dress in like casual clothes. You can even come in your pajamas and stuff like that. We're a modern company. And I think this whole culture of like anti-suit, anti-corporate has actually destroyed men. I think it's actually ruined men. I think be whoever you want to be a little bit softer. Like a strong man actually cries and shows his emotions. I think this whole culture has actually made men extremely, extremely weak, and they've lost their greatest quality. It's almost like your ace in the hole, your trump card, your ace of spades. It's up your sleeve, and you've just burnt it. It's like, do you know how powerful it is to just be? And I'll jump into the images in a minute because it will show you guys what I'm talking about. But it's the most powerful thing to show up as like a muscular, aggressive looking like grown man who looks masculine. And I'll show you in the images. I'll show you female versions and male versions, and it'll make so much sense. But to show up looking like that in a nice fitted suit, a tailored suit, and you're getting out of like a nice professional car, and you're just, I don't know, maybe you got a beautiful woman with you, going and grabbing a coffee or something like that. Like the whole world looks at you differently. I've told you guys that story before. I was on a train going to pick up my car down in London when I first bought it, and there's me and this young guy who's like probably 18 years old. He's dressed in a tracksuit. And I'm dressed in a nice long like trench coat, really professional shoes and stuff like that. I'm looking like I've got the big beard and whatever. I'm looking a little bit older. And the conductor gets on, and I was just like, oh shit. I was like, how many pay for a ticket? I was just thinking, like, I'll get it when I'm on there or whatever. Like, maybe I'll get away with it. I was like, I just can't be bothered to pay it. And he goes up to this young guy in front of me. Have you got a ticket? And the kid's like, oh no, no, like I thought, like the modern UK man, the modern UK boy, should I say, like no, no, yeah, sorry, fam, I didn't really think about it. And the guy was just like, look, you're getting off at the next stop. Sorry, you can't be on here. He was like, just get off. It like handles him and makes him get off. Then comes up to me and goes, "Excuse me, sir, have you got a ticket?" And I was like, "I do really apologise. I got on the train last minute. I'm happy to pay now if that's okay." And he was like, "Absolutely, sir, not a problem at all." It's just like completely different reaction to the same scenario. Exactly, me and that guy were in the exact same scenario. He's just been kicked off the train, and I've just been told I can buy a ticket now. Entirely. I mean, I've sat in first class many a time and not had to pay because it's late at night and I've jumped on. And I've been like, the barriers are open. And I was like, I'd be a moron to pay now. And if the conductor's on there or whatever, the tickets please guy, if he comes over and asks, I was like, I'll get my ticket. But they get on. They're walking down. They're just like, "How you doing, sir? You okay? Like, can I get you any food? Can I get you any coffee?" Because they look at you and they presume this guy belongs here. Of course, he's paid for a ticket. Look at the way he's dressed. It's like if somebody puts on a high vis jacket and goes, "Sorry, you can't come through here." People are like, "Oh, he must know what he's doing. He must work here." It's the same thing, right? It's almost like a masculine uniform. It's a masculine presence. Like you've got the muscle, you've got the jawline, you've got the leanness, you've got that. You haven't got that like puffy little boy face. You've got that just like, do you know what I mean? It's there. It's just, it looks tough. It looks masculine. And we'll go through all the images now so it makes sense. But like I said, the physical is you. The physical and the way you present yourself to the world, your framing, your hyper masculine character, that's all on you. You can't blame anybody for that. The mental will grind you down and it will happen over time. And you will just become a stronger man because of it. It's like why you always used to go to your dad. "Dad, can you help me with this?" or whatever. He could because he's been through the same shit. He's just been through it in life. He's done those like cold fucking rainy nights walking home from a job he hates for 3 years. and he did it all because he got his missus pregnant when he wasn't supposed to. Like that, do you know what I mean? He's done all that. He's grind through. So when you come to him and say, "Oh, Dad, I got a problem at school. I got a B, and I won't be able to get into this university," he's almost just like, "Oh, it's what it is, mate." Like, do you know what I mean? That's life. He just sees it as not really a problem. It's like if you went up to a billionaire and said, "I've got some business problems," they'd be like, "They're not problems. Like you can sort them in about 24 hours. Leave it with me." Do you know what I mean? It's entirely different when somebody's at a higher level, and that's what a lot of you guys need to learn. So let's jump over to the screen. I just want to do my old school other side of male lifestyle commentating, and we'll take it from there, guys. Right then, guys. So the first picture I want to start with is here, because this is more, the mental I could tell you about till the cows come home, but the physical, it's like I need to show you. The mental makes sense, right? It will just grind you down over life, but I need to show you the physical because nobody knows this. Young guys today, they don't see this, they don't know it, they don't understand how much this works, right? Now, sorry for looking like a psychopath on the left, but I needed to just get the correct picture and whatever. This is actually in the same place, so it's roughly the same lighting, right? And people say, "Oh, that's not the same lighting. That's why you look." It is, because I'll show you. For example, this is why I actually showed you guys this exact picture. Oh, okay, we're going the wrong way. I showed you this exact picture because here we go. This was where I took it. I took it in this same place, and I took this picture because the lighting was amazing, right? And I took this picture because my camera guy was there, and I was just like, "Hey, just grab a picture of me." Now you can see a big difference between these two, right? Like the face is obviously more chiseled. That looks like a boy's face. It's much more rounded. It's a spud face. This is angular. You got the cheekbones. You got the hollow cheeks, which I tried to tell you 3-4 years ago. Even though I didn't have them, I knew exactly what I was talking about. But nobody wanted to listen. Everyone just wanted to shit on me. But yeah, the cheekbones are significantly higher. The face is more angular. You got the jawline and whatnot. It just looks, that's a man's face. That's like a strong, tough structure. That's what I'm talking about. Whereas this was like, it's just more gooey. And a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, because you're out of shape and whatnot." But that's why I wanted to bring this up. Yeah, I'm bigger here. Yeah, I've like filled out in like definitely the biceps, shoulders, chest. Like everything's more rounded. It's more of a masculine. It's a man's appearance, and that's another factor. It's something else that is really key to work on. If it becomes thicker, like I think my hands just look thicker in general, like stronger, longer. They just look bigger because it's just years and years of just smashing away on like construction and stuff like that. And over time lifting heavy weights, you get like a stronger grip. Do you know what I mean? But this guy's not in bad shape. This guy's in great shape. Do you know what I mean? Like he's pretty lean. He's strong. Like I was lifting some heavy weights back then, and I actually thought I looked pretty good. I think this was actually the cover of like my fitness course and stuff like that. So I must have thought I looked great. But this guy is just a different beast. It's a different animal. Like that's a grown man. You see the high cheekbone there. Doesn't have that there. Right? This is just a grown man. Like the neck looks bigger and stronger. The traps look bigger and stronger. Shoulder, biceps, chest, etc. Right? And you look at this guy. It just like the zoom in on the face is puffy. Like it's very puffy, it's very childlike, it's very teenager, and this is just strength. And what people will say is like, a lot of guys will look at it as like, "I don't want to become a bald guy." Well, yeah, like keep your hair if you want to, like shave it, keep it, make it long. It doesn't matter, right? The whole idea, and this is what I'm trying to get across to you guys, is masculinity, is strength, is toughness. This guy gets relied upon. This guy makes shit happen. This guy is respected. This guy just looks like a grown man. Same here. This guy just looks like a big, strong, grown man. This is just like a little boy who's on his way. Right? And this is me halfway through. I was probably like 27 here, 32 here. There's a big difference. And this is what guys don't see. Is guys are like, these days, trying to be like the prettiest possible guy that they can be. They're trying to, I don't know, they're trying to do like female fucking routines. But this is what people are. This is what, for example, this is what works for men. This is what I'd say. You'll get respect. You'll get, other guys will just respect you. I don't want to go into detail and sound like a dick, but you get guys moving out the way. I'll say that and stuff like that. You get guys who respect you. You get guys who think you're a grown man. They treat you differently. Like I said, if I'm on a train or something like that, and I just say, if I'm just like, "Hey, sorry, didn't have time to get the ticket," they're like, "Oh, no problem, sir." Whereas back here, they might have had a little bit more of an issue with it and stuff like that. And the guy that I described, they would have had a big issue with it. Now, this isn't obvious to a lot of men. I don't know why we've lost this. I don't know why this just like vanished in a lot of guys' heads. But I knew that I had to look like this. I knew I had to be like more chiseled and stronger and just like a bigger neck, a bigger jaw, solid jaw. Like that. I don't know why guys aren't focusing on that. It's like a cheat code as men. And I'll give you a prime example. I don't know when this got lost and stuff like that, but there's a picture I'm looking for here. Okay. So I typed in muscular woman, and this is the first one that came up, right? I don't think any guys, it's probably some guys, but I don't find this attractive. I don't think many guys would find this attractive. Why? Because it's a woman who's supposed to be feminine who looks like a man, who looks like a bodybuilder. This is the first one that came up. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys would much prefer, and I went for somebody with the same ethnicity, this woman here. Like, why do we prefer that? Because it's feminine. It's soft. She's wearing silk. She's got the shaven legs. Like, she's got, you know, the makeup and the softness and the little pose and all this stuff. Like, you know, that's what guys prefer. Guys don't really want that. All right, and she's welcome to do whatever she wants to do in life. Like, it's not my choice to tell her what to do. But, you know, compare that to that, and every guy would rather that woman, right? It's the same sort of ethnicity of personnel, you know, just entirely different women. Like, one is very soft and feminine and beautiful, and the other one's, you know, I'm getting older now, so I don't want to shit on people, but she's beautiful in her own right. She's done her own thing, whatever. She's in fantastic shape. Probably some substance abuse. Wouldn't be surprised if she's taken some steroids. And that's what gives her this, like, masculine appearance, right? And then guys find this super attractive because it's feminine. You know, just as this became a thing for a while. I don't know why, but, you know, everyone's entitled to do whatever they want to do. I don't want to be that guy that judges people. But she's dressing like a man. I typed in woman dressed like a man, and this is what she's doing here. She's playing that image. And the thing is, this woman's beautiful. You know, head to toe, she's beautiful, but she's dressed like a man, and it doesn't really appeal. Whereas a woman who's dressed like a woman, it just appeals a lot more. You know, I think a lot of you would rather, you know, if you would rather go out arm in arm with a woman that was dressed like that and looked like that than somebody who was dressed like that. I think just because it just gives off like masculine vibes, and maybe I shouldn't, but I look at this woman and I think a lot of you will think the same. I look at this woman and I just go, she's gonna be a problem. She's gonna give me a headache. She's gonna argue with me non-stop. This woman's gonna let me just decide the day, just plan everything. All she wants to do is just look beautiful and have a good time and let me take control of the day. That's what I want, right? So in reverse, why would a woman look at a man who looks like that? You know, that it's not bad, but like, why would she look at a man like that and go, you know, it's softer, it's body fat, it's feminine, it's estrogen. That's what it is, and it, like, this isn't. It's still a masculine guy, but compared to that, it's like hyper masculine. Like, you're a little bit bigger, you're a little bit stronger. You look like a grown man. You speak like a grown man. Your like confidence issues have gone. Like, I look really relaxed there, whereas here I look quite like wide eyed and like panicky, and this guy just looks as though he's got his life sorted. This guy doesn't, you know. And these are just pictures, like, of a face and a body. Like, imagine when you throw in like the car and everything that we'll get to in a minute, the way you dress. But guys really underestimate. They say to me like, how can I? You know, I don't want to go down this route. This is the old school route of this channel, but like, every guy wants to attract women. Every guy wants more respect from men. Every guy wants, you know, business success and stuff like that. Honestly, just showing up with a jawline and like a solid face and more, like, less body fat, so it's more just chiseled. It just changes your life. Changes your life in every single area, okay? Just straight away, just results. It's just because it's like, oh, it's a man. There's a grown man. There's somebody who's just like I can depend on this guy. He's got his shit sorted. Makes a big difference. Henry Cavill, for example, most sought out after man in the world right now. Like, looking like that, you can see why. When he was younger, puffy cheeks, like really fat, super handsome. But like, it's a baby, it's a child. That's what it is, right? It's just school kid. Here, like, really handsome guy, but again, very babyish, like childish looks. And then here, grown man, just solid. Just looks like you can punch his face and it's built from granite. Like, that's guy. I don't know why. I don't know where this disappeared from, but so many guys have forgotten how to do that. And you know, I like do chewing exercises. I do submental exercises. I do sprints like 3 days per week. I go to the gym 6 days per week. Like, the whole idea is to just toughen all this up, toughen up the exterior. Like I said, the mental side of life, that's going to toughen you up on the inside. It's just going to happen over time. You can let it in, you can hide from it, whatever, but it's going to emit its force onto you. And over time, you're going to become stronger because of it. The physical, it's up to you guys. You need to, and it's like, oh, how am I supposed to chase that? You can get close. You can get closer. I mean, come on, like my face has gone from that to that. Like I'm pleased with how that looks. I would not be pleased if I looked like that, and I worked on it. Like I'm pleased with the way I look now. I think I look like a grown man, whereas here I look like a boy in transition, like a teenager trying to get in shape for the first time. Whereas this is more stacked. This is a guy who's like been working on himself for a little bit longer. Just hitting the gym for an extra, what's that, like 4 years difference, 3 years difference between these two. So it's like an extra 3 years of just specific workouts and stuff like that, and just trying to become a little bit bigger and tougher and whatnot. It makes a world of difference. And Henry Cavill's done the same thing. He's gone from this puffy faced fat boy to this school kid to this young Hollywood pretty boy to this grown, strong leading man with like the toughness of the face and the chiseled nature to him. It's not rocket science, but so many guys have lost it. I mean, we've got another example here with Glenn Powell. Where's Glenn Powell? Here. Soft, gooey face. Very soft frame as well. Like it just looks gooey. Just looks like a child. I mean, I made the Glenn Powell video recently. Whereas now, look, chiseled. Like everything's strong, everything's masculine, everything's lean, everything looks like an adult, everything looks like a grown man. It makes the world a difference, guys. And so many people are just like, let's not shit on this guy. But this is a gamer, right? I think his name's Aiden. Real famous gamer, making a ton of money. I'm sure he's happy in life. I'm sure he's having a good time. But it's just like the puffiness and just the gaming aspect. Like, I'm in a hoodie, I'm fat and puffy. What do you think? Little boy. I would. I just look at that, I'd be like, it's a little boy. Yeah, he looks like a gamer. Do you know what I mean? And if he's making a shit ton of money, he's having the time of his life, he's doing what he loves, then who am I to say, right? Everybody do you. But it just makes your life so much easier if you can just turn up looking shredded. And, oh yeah, not everyone can look like that though. Well, he doesn't look too good here. He looks like a normal guy there. He just looks like any guy off the street. He blends in with like this guy here. Like they don't look too dissimilar. Whereas here it's like Hollywood leading man. And like I said, it's the same with Henry Cavill. Real handsome guy there, but like bang, Hollywood leading man. Like it's just gone up a few levels. Do you know what I mean? It makes the world a difference, right? And this is how so many young men are living. I typed in boy racer cars, and it's just like this childish aspect. Look, super puffy. All the guys in a car with a loud exhaust. You guys remember this from the other side of male life video. Driving around in a car like this. Like this is very much like a youthful thing. This is what young men do. I mean, look at the lads. The lads are here. Posing next to the boy racer, like dressed in these like branded logo baggy t-shirts, jeans, and whatever. Everyone does it. It's a youthful thing. I'm not shitting on people for doing it, but it's not a good look. You're taking away the greatest strength that you have as a man in terms of masculinity, right? And I went and generated these images. So these are AI generated. Look at the difference between something like that, like a young gamer style look, to tapping into like your greatest strength as a man. And is this guy handsome? Yeah. Is he the most handsome guy in the world? No, not really. Does he have like the strong chiseled face? He's getting there. Like he's getting there. Like he looks like a man. If I saw this guy walking down the street, I'd think this guy's got his life sorted. I think he's made progress. He's got the black Porsche Panamera, the duffel bag. How do I know that's Panamera? Because I typed it in on AI. AI is unbelievable now. I'm doing a video soon on. It'll be like a course on school on how I think the next millionaires are coming from AI and how you can do it. I've got some ideas on that. But, he's in the long navy trench coat. He's well groomed. He's got the duffel bag. He's got the Porsche Panamera. Like, that's, he's in London, as I see here, like in autumn, like I've explained to you guys before. It just creates this whole image of, like, this grown man who's got his life sorted. Now, this guy could make way more money, but I guarantee this guy would get more respect outside of the gaming world. I guarantee this guy's got a better life. His life setup. It's the greatest power that men have ever had. Is to just be, to be lean, to be strong, to be powerful, to add some muscle to the frame, to pack yourself out, to dress well, to have some good assets, to, instead of having like a nice sports bag or, like a cute little kind of like gimmicky bag with Bugs Bunny on it. No, go for the leather. Go for the brown leather bag. Okay, like dress fucking properly. I could have like blue hair like Ninja the gamer. No, like go and get some like grown man trim. Oh, I could go and get a car like this. No, go and like stop being an idiot, right? Go and get a car like this. Like why are you not tapping into your like masculinity and the things that benefit you the most? Like this, it changes the absolute game. Like I said, the mental will break you down over time. It'll grind you down. You'll become the man that you need to become. And there's a lot of success journeys, and I should have shown you them actually. I got rid of the pictures. Maybe I can bring it up afterwards. But these guys were like, so some of the most successful billionaires in history. 31 years old, 30 years old, net worth 1 million, which is just like a house and a few assets and whatnot. And it's like by 50, 60, they're worth like 6 billion, 10 billion, 100 billion. And it's because life grinds you down. You get to a certain age, which I've experienced now. I'm 32 years old, and it's like you've been through so much, you've learned so much, you've picked up these lessons. You just look at the world differently, and you're like, I need to clean this shit up. I'm not running it properly. I need to do this right. Like, why have I not researched this before? Why am I winging it? Why am I just going, oh, it'll be fine, we'll take care of that? Like, check your financials, dig into how much everything costs within each penny, and then put alerts in place and like contact people from that company and be like, if this changes, if this price goes up, I need to know immediately. Send me an email. You adopt all that, and it's no secret why these guys have gone from like 1 million net worth at 30 because they're intelligent, they're superstars, to like 65 years old and they're worth like 20 billion. Because in between that time, they've just became somebody who was a superstar by like 30, and then in between that time, they just honed it in. They just made it more professional. But the physical, the outer appearance, because you could look at somebody like Bill Gates, and the mental he's got nailed, but the physical he looks like shit, and he's not really pulled this off. Do you know what I mean? Here's another one that I generated. Quite a skinny guy, right? And I did this on purpose. Quite a skinny guy, but like handsome, kept himself groomed well together. Like obviously low body fat. I put the back. It's the same thing. It just generated 2 pictures. But he's just got like the nice professional bag, the professional car. He's in a nice professional area. If I walk past this guy on the street, I'd think high level guy. I think this guy is, this guy is a threat to anything that you're trying to do in life. Like he looks super high level. Like he could probably, take someone's girl. He's an attractive guy. He's got his life sorted. Like he could compete with you in a business sense. Like I would just have that impression. I would also have respect for this guy. I'd want to be friends with a guy like this. I'd be like, this guy's got his life sorted. Like, I really respect him. Do you know what I mean? It's the type of guy that he's got his missus, you've got your missus, and you go on a double date. It's that type of guy that you want in your life. And it's just appearance. And guys aren't tapping into this anymore. They're not seeing the benefits of all this. And it drives me crazy because it's so easy to do. Like I said, like these are normal guys that you would pretty much see on the street, but they've just made the best of themselves. Yeah, AI generated, but I'm sure you could find guys like this. I'm sure, people could afford cars like this, right? It's quite an old one. Porsche Panamera is not that expensive anymore. Just the bag, the outfit, whatever, the way that they've been groomed. Like this is that's why I had to AI generate them, because apart from brands and stuff, like these images don't exist anymore, and it's such a shame. And I'll give you a good example. This was me at my biggest. So I was 102 kilograms, and I was just stacked, and I was just eating whatever I wanted. I was lifting whatever I wanted. I was so strong, it was ridiculous. I was just throwing shit around, and I felt like, I'm a big, strong man. My mental was weak, right? Number one, which is a real shame. But number two, like I look kind of puffy. Do you know what I mean? I kind of look like a little boy still. It's just like this little boyish face, puffy, rosy red cheeks and whatnot. Yeah, you got a beard, but like this guy just does look like a little boy. Whereas in comparison with now, that's a grown man. Do you know what I mean? Like I took this picture for myself. I didn't think I'd ever show anybody, but now I'm showing people all the time. But, or 2 videos in a row, should I say. But this is like, that's a grown man dressed in that outfit. The nice shoes, the jeans, the coat, the top, the groomed beard, the shaved head. In comparison with that guy, that guy looks okay. He's just puffy faced. Like, take away that beard and I would probably look like a baby. I would probably look like a baby there, right? But whereas this guy would still look like a grown man. This guy's still like, he's got a chiseled hard face. Now ignore the bed not being made. I just changed all the sheets, right? You don't know I didn't have a beautiful woman coming around after that, so please don't judge me. But yeah, it's even like this, like the hemp rug and stuff like that, like expensive, nice interior for my house and whatever. Like that's the nice clothes. That is a guy who's getting his life together. This guy's just dressed in a muscle fit t-shirt and he's got a baby face and a childish face. Did he have a good life? Yeah, but nowhere near as good as this guy. Nowhere near as good as this guy. Nowhere near as good as this guy. It's just, look at that, the chiseled nature of that compared to that. Right, I know this is weird because you're talking about yourself. It's very strange, but it's just like I want to show you guys that I've lived it, I've gone through it, and the benefits to your life going from a boy to a man is enormous. And I know my life better than anybody else. I know my life better than I know anybody else's. So I want to take you through that journey and be like, at this point here, 102 kilograms, jacked and whatnot, not a lot of female attention, not a lot of, a little bit of respect from men, but, in a business sense, not a lot of respect because I'd walk into the office just looking like a baby, just looking like a child. Whereas when this man walks in, well dressed and stuff like that, walks in looking like that, I get deals. I get people giving me, they, they give me preferential treatment. When I go into stores and stuff like that, I was in Harrods recently going for a meal at the rooftop bar there. And when you walk in like this, people just take care of you. When you walk in like this, they're a little bit more like, yeah, I'm not sure. And even so, that's what I'm saying. It's not. It's like a whole thing that you need to put together. It's not just, oh, I just need to become a big giant guy. It's like, no, because this guy is way lighter than that guy, but he gets more respect because it's the combination. Like the skin looks better there. Like look at that, it's just red and puffy, and the diet is awful. It's just bringing it all together, just having that like masculine aura about you. It just absolutely changes the game. And one thing that's really hit me in the last few years. Let me have a look actually. So Anthony Joshua. This is Anthony Joshua's new car. Everyone was talking about it there's some YouTube videos and whatnot. I think he's just bought the latest Range Rover. He gets it, he understands it, right? He knows, like, big, strong, professional athlete. What I need is like a Range Rover. That's perfect for me. He's not going out and buying something like a lime green Lamborghini, which has that effect, but for adults, in my opinion. Like, he's gone out there and he's done this. Now, what's Anthony Joshua's house? Let's have a look. I believe it's this one. So that's his house as well. Right, so he gets it. He knows what he's doing. He's gone professional. He's gone like Holland Park and stuff like that. He's gone West London. It's all like this high level, having a nice meal outside with the family. Like he gets it. He's tapped into all of this. And I mean, this is, something that resonates with me now. And you guys would know, like, sort of places like this. But this resonates with me more now, where it's like you can raise a family, you could be a man, you could have that grown man lifestyle. And this sort of resonates with me a lot more now than what I had before, which was like, I want to get the penthouse. And once you start honing this in, once you start putting these components in, you have that strong masculine face. You have that mindset where life's grind you down and you think differently now. You operate differently. You can handle things on your own. You're not bitching and moaning. I said to somebody the other day, they were on about a woman that they lost, and I was like, but as a man, like, you don't go to bed at night and lie there and think about a woman. Like, that's not even something that you do. You don't lie on the pillow and you go, I wonder what she's up to. I'm going to look at her pictures. I really miss her. It's a feminine thing. Just put your head on the pillow and just go to sleep. Right? Like, she should be at home cuddling a pillow thinking of you. Oh, I really miss him and stuff like that. I feel like just something has just happened to men in the last few years where, like, we're still little boys and we're very feminine, and that transition mentally and physically just never happened. It's almost like puberty never kicked in. Maybe it's not having a dad around, no masculine influence. Maybe we don't realize like our greatest power. But just my mind is blank. You know those memes where it's like, I wonder what he's thinking about, and the guy's thinking about like football or something like that. I just have these moments all the time where it's just like I'm not thinking about anything. Like a girl will say, "Have you thought about me at all? I bet have you missed me?" And I'd just be like, "Honestly, no. I've just been getting on with my life. Like it's not really something I do. I don't really sit there thinking of like, oh, I really miss that girl. I can't wait to see her again." It's more just like when it comes round, it will come round. I've got stuff to be working on. Like I'm really busy and I'm locked in. Like my mind just doesn't even go to that space, and that mental and physical aspect, and then the framing aspect, the masculine framing of like, this is the type of house where you could provide for a family. This is the type of house where you could provide for your team, your family. You can be that, guy who's got the whole life sorted. You see in movies a guy in America in like a finance dad in a gilet or something. He can't, or like a quarter zip, and he comes home and he's like on the phone. He's wrapping up deals. There's always a house like this, and he'll always be stood up on the balcony getting things wrapped. And it's just like, what happened to that? What happened to the James Bonds? What happened to that image of like the perfect man, mentally, physically, the strength that it shows to the world? It's like when do we lose that and stop celebrating it? When did it become I need to be in a hoodie, I need to have bright blue hair, and I need to be playing video games all the time? Like what? I just don't know what happens. I don't know when, people stopped relying on masculinity to get them places in life, because just being, and I've said this to guys on one-to-one calls that I've done, like just being tougher, just looking like a man, just acting like a man, just being tough mentally and physically, just having like a solid jaw here, just having some solid muscle, just being low body fat, just dressing in a way that a professional older man would dress, just having assets that an older professional man would have. The whole world just opens up. You get a shit ton of attention off women. Let's just bypass that and just get it out the way. You do. You get a lot more respect for women from women, right? You get a shit ton of respect from men. People treat you differently. Life in general is just better, you know, and you just feel as though, okay, I belong. I'm in this second phase of my life now, like this other side of male life. Guys aren't tapping into it. They're not using it. They're not doing it. And I have no idea why. I don't know what this picture is. Oh, okay, fair enough. But yeah, guys aren't tapping into it anymore. It's a real shame. They're not, you know, looking for an asset like this. They're much. Do you know what's a real problem though? Do you know what is a real fucking problem? I'm looking at acquiring assets like this. I'm looking at acquiring assets like this and thinking this would be really nice to just like have a beautiful life and have things in order and, you know, maybe start a family now and go down that route. A lot of young guys are going, how do I afford the latest Yeezys? How do I get my hands on, you know, there's this new pair of shoes that just came out. They're like £1,800. I have to buy them. There's this new video game that came out and I have to buy it. I have to get the premium version. I want to be ahead of the game with my character. And it's like, just put your money into this shit. Like, where did that go? Where was it that we started, like, I don't know, a guy will go and drop like 20k on some Star Wars merchandise and be like, yeah, that's my life sorted. And it's like, no, you should probably be chasing these like masculine assets that have your life sorted. Now, I'm not discouraging people to go after what they love, you know, because if you're into that and that's your sort of thing, then go for it. But like, people don't realize the strength that a life like this provides, the other side of male life. Like, nobody teaches us. We just go from, like I said, nobody, especially in the UK. I mean, Americans, you might have the same, Australia, Europe, wherever. But in the UK, apparently, the average person, and I'm doing a video on this, saves about £724 a year. That's £727 a year, I think. That's pathetic. And it doesn't matter how much you earn, that is savable. That's £31 a day. Now, you'd only need 24 days to save that. So it just goes to show, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out what a lot of young men are doing. They're living like little boys. Instead of saving for the future, instead of building themselves up, they're using that £31 per day. I don't know. Go out on weekends, go and get drunk, £200-300 on alcohol. You know, they're spending it on comfort food, Uber Eats. They're spending it on, I don't know, sports subscriptions and stuff like that. They're spending it on video games and whatever. It's just like, I know where that money's going, because there's no way you couldn't save up £700 a year. There's no way you couldn't save up 1,000 and be above the average. Like, that's terrible. They're real figures as well. 727 per year that the average man is saving in the UK. That's awful. And do you know who spends more? Women spend way more than men. They have less disposable income left at the end of each year. Like, they have less savings at the end of the year. So it goes to show that it's a feminine trait, like spending, splurging, retail therapy. It's a feminine thing. It's something that you shouldn't be doing as men. You should be chasing down these major assets. You should be chasing down, you know, an investment in a business. You should be chasing down, like I said, like Anthony Joshua did, like a very, I can't even find it now, but you know, the car that he had, the Range Rover, there we go. Just like functionable assets, like these assets where like he could get the kids in the back, he could take the family places and stuff like that. I think it just speaks volumes. You know, dressing in a certain way, being this type of guy. Like, guys don't realize the benefit of this until they actually do it. And like I said, nobody wants a woman like that. Nobody wants a woman who dresses like this. Men want a woman like that, who's dressing like that. So why would women want, you know, a guy who's more feminine? Why would women want a guy dressing like this and acting like this and whatnot? They wouldn't, would they? Like, they want a guy who's sorted his life out, who looks like this. And other men respect it too. Like I said, anytime I see a guy like this, I got massive respect for him. If I see a guy like this, I'm just thinking, I'll run clean through you. Like, I just don't understand where that's gone. Like, there's something that every guy watching this needs to do. You need to transition from a boy to a man. And the mental will grind you down over time and you will get there. And but you need to learn it. You need to embrace it. When it's happening to you, you need to accept it in the moment and go, I am bitching and moaning. I am whinging. I am being a little boy here. I'm being a child. I'm being very feminine here. I'm collapsing under pressure. I'm collapsing under stress. Just embrace it. Just live it. Enjoy it. That's what it means to be a man. James Sexton said it in my documentary, Fatherless Generation, which is on the School Community. You can go and watch it now. You can literally click on it and listen to him speak. Like I might even release the snippet on this channel, where he talks about all of this, because I think it's so important. It'll improve so many men's lives. I'll actually do that tonight. I might do it after this video. But so many young men aren't ready to transition from a boy to a man, and then that includes the physical too. You need to look like a man. You need to look masculine. As I said, like, she looks masculine. It's not attractive. She looks feminine. It's really attractive. You know, people always ask, why are men so obsessed with like young, beautiful women? Because it's feminine, it's soft, it's attractive. Is what, you know. Why do women prefer older men? Because they've got their life sorted. They look like this. They have the nice assets. They show that they can be depended upon. Like, and we've stopped doing that. We're sending this signal to the world that I cannot be relied on. I'm soft. I am weak. Like, I dress like a child. It screams immaturity. I promise you guys, when you tap into this life, when you tap into what I've shown you today, and you actually want to become a man, you actually go from a boy to a man, you make that transition, and you embrace the next phase of life where instead of being at the club, you're at a coffee shop, you're working on your laptop, you're well dressed, and it's 7 a.m., not 7 p.m., and you're getting things sorted. When, you know, you've got your gym membership is now like £129 a month because it includes a spa, networking opportunities, a restaurant. You can bring a +1. You can go to classes and stuff like that, and you're practicing, I don't know, martial arts. You've got a boxing coach. You're doing jujitsu. You know, that is a masculine move over somebody who's maybe paying like £19 a month and going, oh, it's great, this gym, because it's cheap. Now, both are great because they'll get you to your end goal, but people don't understand the benefits of living that like higher level life, that masculine level life, like pushing yourself. Or even, you know, it's not compared gym, but let's say it's £119 a month, right, for your gym. And people go, oh my God, you're crazy. Why would you ever pay that? And it's like, you actually pay £100 every weekend getting drunk. And even if it's not that, £50 a weekend on a few beers down the pub. And they go, you're crazy spending £100 a month. Like, let's say you're crazy spending £200 a month on your gym membership. And you're like, every Saturday you go down to the local pub, you drink some beers and you watch the football and it costs you £50. And then you grab a kebab afterwards. Let's say that ends up being £50. I would much rather spend £200 on that gym membership that levels my life up. Like, that is a grown man move. You know, I just don't understand. For example, you can go on somewhere like Moss Bros. You can go on like Luca Filoni. You can go on like you can even shop at places like Zara and get yourself some half decent clothes and whatever. But you know, places like Luca Filoni, you can go and drop like £1,000 on about 4 or 5 really nice outfits that will get you through the winter or whatever, or at least a few months. You can also drop £1,000 on like the latest pair of trainers. Like if you go into like a JD Sports or like what's like a sports store in America, like a Foot Locker or something like that, like you can easily buy like one pair of shoes for your kids and it's like £250 because they're the latest Nikes and whatever. They have no benefit to your life as a man. If you're like a 16-year-old kid and you know everybody respects you for that sort of thing, yeah, there will be a benefit, but like as a grown man, you can get away with like a pair of £100 Oxford shoes, or you know, like £120 Chelsea boots or something like that. Like, it has a major benefit to your life. So, you know, people would be very surprised what you're actually spending on, how much money you're actually wasting, because you're in that boy phase. You're in that, you know, feminine retail therapy phase where you're spending so much money that you don't need to be spending. Whereas all of that can be allocated to better areas that will have a better bang for the buck in your life. So that's the transition from a boy to a man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed making this one. I hope it made sense. And just harden yourself up, guys. Just toughen yourself up, mentally, physically, everything, emotionally. You just need to become a man. Nobody's showing you this. Nobody knows that this other side of male life exists. Your greatest power has been stripped from you, and you're not realizing that it's there for the taking. You can see my transition and how I've done it from a boy to a man. I'm telling you, my life is considerably better. It feels amazing. It's only getting better and better, and it's just like, it's time to do it. It's time to put all this in play, because it would just be such a shame for you guys to get to the end of your life and be like, oh my God, I wore hoodies for like the whole time. I was just some casual, like, relaxed little boy. So I saw a study before which was like, if you want to destroy the world, and I don't want to go down to conspiracy aspects, but they said if you want to destroy the world, keep people immature for longer, because immaturity just keeps them away from that like professional lifestyle. It stops them thinking about what they need to think about. It keeps them spending. You know, if you want the economy to flourish, have everybody, you know, what do kids do? Kids don't worry about budgets. They don't worry about when I was growing up, the amount of people I knew that had like rent to pay and whatnot, and they would go and on a night out and they would go into their overdraft and they'd be like, "It's all right because I'm getting paid tomorrow." It's a child thing to do. You know, an adult in their 30s would go, "Well, I've got £300 left. I'm going to save it. I get paid tomorrow. That puts me in a really good spot. It means next month I might have £600 left. And then if I do that over the period of a year, I'm going to have a few thousands that I can rely upon, worst case scenario. Now, in the meantime, I need to find a higher paying job because this is, you know, it's put me in a difficult situation." That would be like an adult's mindset, but that's not good for the economy because it doesn't keep money trickling in. You know, that's not good for shops, stores, branding, people in marketing. They want you to spend money, and it's like, how do we get that out of people? You get people spending money by making them immature. That's all universal basic income is all about. Is like, if you don't have responsibilities, you don't have a job, and we give you £40,000 per year, and you're guaranteed it again next year. Guess what? They know people are going to do: spend it. People will just spend it. People will go, "I've got 40, I might as well spend 40. The government's going to give me another 40 next year." So all of that money would stay in the hands of the wealthy 1% or the top people at the top or the government. It's like the best system in the world is to keep people immature, especially men, because you know, if you've got immature men, the whole world collapses. Like nothing works properly, and this is an untapped gem. This is like your whole life can just transform overnight if you tap into this and start living this lifestyle and present yourself to the world as this individual, mentally and physically. So that's transition from a boy to a man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll speak to you all soon, and I'll see you over on the School Community.